Hello. I think I'm live. Let me check. All right. Yes. Yes, I am. All right. If anybody can let me know if the sound is okay, if we are not too loud. Good. Welcome back. Welcome back to the internet for me. I took a month off for those who don't check my news on Patreon, so I still don't have social media, and I don't know if I'll ever get any. Maybe. Maybe eventually I'll get some social media so you can follow me up. But otherwise, yeah, I took a month off. Now, the world is way more terrible. I'm, though, doing great. It's been a nice time off. I did a lot of things. As you can see, it's a new space. I did move myself to a different room of the house, so now I have a little bit more space. Mostly just because it gives me better angles for filming, because I was always struggling with the fact that the room is it's hard to explain. It's like those smaller bedrooms that you get in American homes, so it's really, really small. It's a baby room. It's not the you can't put a teenager in there, they're not gonna fit. It's a baby room. That's where I put my husband now, so he's there now, and I took over this room, which is much bigger. So yeah, so those are the new and exciting things. I did have a full month of pretty much vacation. Not really, there was a lot of stuff that I needed to do, just I had to repaint this room, and we did whole bunch of rearrangement in here that is not super visible, but it's everything takes time. That's why you figure out once you start doing any work on the house. It's just we still have on the room that I moved out because I had sound panels there. I ripped them off, and there's holes in the walls there still. So I bought the paint for my husband, and then I was okay, we'll eventually get there. And it's been, it takes time. Everything is now you have to spend an hour doing this, and then it's gonna stink like a paint, and that's close to the bedroom anyway. So it's times. But the weather was nice. I did gardening. I went to the lakes. I went to see my parents. I went to see my friends. So it's been great. And I think I'll just do the same thing potentially next year. Because originally I was thinking that I need a month off in winter. But the thing is, there is nothing to do in winter in Alberta. You can just, I guess, drink alcohol and go to Mexico or whatever. But there is not much to do. So I do most of the channel work in winter. And then the summer, the months off in summer was just great, even though it might I don't know if there is a lot of if there is going to be a fallout from this, but I was willing to take it just in terms of I guess how much viewership you can lose by just not making content. So that was definitely a thing, but then also it was good to take a break. Because the video before that, the video that I did on what's it's called, the gosh, not the manosphere, Maha movement, you want to say, on raw diets. So the video I did on raw diets, if you don't know, that was demonetized. That was a big kick in my face. So I didn't handle that one really well. I wouldn't say so, because it's different when the video doesn't perform well. It's whatever, the video doesn't perform well. But when you know that the video does perform well, and then the YouTube stops it, and then it doesn't do anything anymore, that's way harder to handle. That was the first one for me. So that was unpleasant experience on the YouTube behalf, and so taking a month off was the right decision. But now I'm back. I don't know if there is. Oh, we have some people, and the time is now. So I did prepare. A lot of things happened in my absence. If everybody knows, Charlie Kirk is now dead. So that's interesting things. The U.S. is now deporting people. what else interesting and exciting? Argentina is now sponsored by US too. So a lot of interesting things happened. Despite all that, I still chose to talk about the AI hate. I think it's just like because the Charlie Kirk stuff, and by the way, like that was currently online. I was reading the report yesterday, and for the last month, that was the most spread news across the internet, like in general, like every platform that you would see, everybody would just be like, oh, like the news, what, like Turning Point USA, whatever. Eventually his wife took over the volume on the internet, but I think it's like a reaction to the current events, which there will be a feedback loop from there, but that was the that's the reaction for current events. Versus I was a little bit more interested in making the reaction to like brewing AI dissatisfaction, because I feel like this will result in like long-term consequences. Like something is cooking here when we talk about the internet's hate on AI and robotics in general. And of course, like I guess let's start. Let me just transition us to different setup. Like this, like that. Oh, now I have space now in this room, and I have space on the table, so I can keep a cup on the table instead of keeping it an air conditioner. So that's been great. So we got ourselves a new slur for the internet people. We'll talk about the racist subtext in here, but yeah, like that's a slur that is white people are allowed to say, especially in online American spaces, which has an interesting implications. So internet's war on clankers and the human urge to destroy a machine. And we're gonna look at memes. It's as usual, a meme review. A meme review. I should do the sound effect for myself on the streams. That would be nice. But yeah, it's also covering the news articles and general sentiment online towards the robotics and anything like semi-automated. Why is it not turning? Oh, here you go. So the clanker. For those who are not aware of the terminology, the term clanker comes up from Star Wars. It is a word of the year, as I call it. Like for me, I think it will be the word, even if they don't make it official word of the year. I think it will still go into the dictionaries this year because it did get this settled meaning. Aside of just like Star Wars. In Star Wars, it refers to robotics, robots which are sentient, but are often not recognized by the pretty much like by the rest of the society who they live in. They will be like droids, I think is also the word used there. Sorry, I'm like not the most Star Wars aware person, let's say like that. So yeah, it's a derogatory term for anything that is automated or robotized tool. In the current, like in the reality, aside of Star Wars, it is for anything which is AI or semi-automated or robotized, like Roomba. Roomba can be a clanker if you choose so, and it encompasses. Like the reason I'm interested in this is that it is a slur, but there is this larger sentiment in terms of AI frustrations and also capital-driven automation and hate towards the billionaires who are pushing for this said clunkers to materialize in our reality. And it's been extremely popular, specifically on TikTok and on X, and also you see it in Shorts. In YouTube Shorts as an extension. A lot of it is slightly strange in how it is presented, but we're gonna talk about that. Like I actually have a good example here. So yeah, like talking to my grandchildren in 2085, being extremely anti-robotics. So there will be a little subtext, and I think it's not that much of a to do with what will you say? It's not. It wouldn't be that much to go with specifically racism, but rather how the people are presenting this content is very reflective of the history of racism, specifically within the United States. So yeah, but all that said, the case against the machines. So the first, like the reason we're having all this conversation and anger towards the clankers, it's not a new occurrence. There is a long history of people opposing tools. Of course, if anybody is familiar with also communities like Amishes or Mennonites, well, you would say like all those like religious groups which are fracturing from society and are completely refusing any sort of machinery. Like now they kind of like they still use tractors now because that's the just efficient way of producing all sorts of food and whatnot. But they will still try to stay away from like cell phones, internet, like they adopt technology centuries later. So they have like their point is usually that like the technology just like separates people from each other and from the God, which I didn't go that far, but that's still a case. Otherwise, the most famous case is Luddism in 19th century. Did we freeze? I think we froze. At least it froze on my side. Let's see if it's froze on the stream side. Whoops. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't it be easy if there was no technical difficulties? All right, hold on. Yeah, I'm live, but I'm frozen. I just hope sound works, so I keep talking to myself. But we will see how this is going. Okay, we're back. I'm back. All right. Okay, good. Was the sound working? Oh, sound was working. Okay, great. At least I didn't swear. Clankers, you see? You see? This is the sort of thing that is happening. The machines are in progress of causing trouble to this stream. The future sentient machines are interfering in our stream right now. I guess that's what Nick Land would say. But anyhow, Luddism and the fight against the machines. So that comes up in the early industrialization, and that is specifically linked to work. And we'll see that this is a continuous theme here, is that the people who are opposed to the machines and implementations of the machines are the ones which are specifically affected by those machines. Specifically, Luddism are opposing textile industry in the UK, and that is coming on the heels of U.S. slavery and cotton farming, which is largely exploiting slave force, producing a large amount of cotton, and then this amount of cotton is going into the textile industry, and then that eventually rolls for centuries to become what we now know as fast fashion, that still utilizes slave labor, you can say, though be it in the third world or developing nations, and not though like sometimes in the US too, but that will be like very problematic industry. And people in this period are opposed to poor standards of living in general. What they are attacking are the means of production. They are attacking the machines, and machines are made of wood. And this is the time when you could still pretty much just like modern industrial machinery is not really breakable like this, but old industrial machinery you could just throw things in it and it would break. You could set it on fire. You can do a lot of things. So they are attacking the means of production as a form of action against their employers. And it's like the period of workhouses, poverty, decrease in social living for a lot of people, just because they are losing their trades and farm positions, and they're moving towards being just clogs in the machine. And that's kind of what is driving this wave of hate against the machines. And that's kind of like the running theme and what we'll see going forward with all of them. Next. Hello. Yes. So after that, the second wave of opposition would be coming when we have computers. So my generation was, and like people of like between, I would say 30 and 45 would be the ones who witnessed the development of all this computer stuff. And we were raised in the spirit of techno-optimism because we were kids. Like I would come home and I would log online, and it was really fun. And you would like that back then, the internet was also like way more of a self-exploring space. And computers were like new fancy machines. We had like game cartridges and stuff like that, which was like the new way of, everybody coming together to your neighbor because your neighbor has Atari. That was a thing that becomes like our childhood, and then eventually early internet, where you would go in and be able to explore. And now all the information is at your fingertips. Really fun, super exciting. Not so exciting for older generations, which are still, if you deal with boomers, they still struggle with the computers. They don't understand that tech. Those who would understand it a little bit were often the ones that actually lost their jobs. So we have a lot of women in tech and other tech industry workers that would be laid off. This is also time of globalization. A lot of industry is moving out. A lot of manufacturing. I attached a picture here for how the manufacturing used to look like. So it's a lot of people sitting and building whatever they're building or making something, or same as tailoring, you would get like a person working and like constantly just like stitching a piece of cloth. This disappears, gets replaced by conveyor belt production largely. So the conveyor is moving, machinery is working. You only need one person to generally operate one piece of equipment. You don't need to employ that many people. All those people get laid off. Tech women are getting laid off because they are viewed as disposable components of a machine and not really as parts of the team in research projects or those leading the projects. We see again wave of unemployment and speed of development, which is just scary for a lot of people who are older in age. The reality is changing really rapidly. And that's when we get tech anxiety, the first wave of tech anxiety, and computer phobia, or fear of any technology like that. Which of course results in an interesting conspiracy theory of Y2K bug, which happened now 25 years as of now, and the world indeed did not end when the computers when the old computers reached the December 31st midnight of 1999. Of course, that's a little of a It's a strange thing to think about 25 years into the future, that people were, for some reason, terrified of a date change on the computer between the centuries. Normally, it's not that many people get to just like live through the change of the century in such a rapidly technological development with the computing. So I guess that was the cause of the anxiety, but that's where we still again have this sort of tech anxiety coming up. Though this is from different people. So like there is an interesting thing that I was just thinking about when I was researching this. The computer, like the people who are having tech anxiety and we froze again. Clankers. What are we doing? All right. Okay, good. Now I know how to fix it. I just have to turn it off and turn it on. Just like I'm being the great IT person here, just turning it off and on. I didn't experience it. I updated my OBS. I'm not sure if this is the cause of it. It's freezing. So I don't know. I'll submit a report later to them. But yeah, at least it's fixable. Machines are rebelling against my presentation. That's okay. So yeah, what I was thinking about the people who are generally opposed to AI are the same people that would be embracing the technology back in early 2000s. So we see tech optimism turning to tech pessimism in a lot of the cases. Now, of course, modern day, we have the work against and the case against the clankers. Again, we're experiencing a wave of layoffs, and again, we're experiencing a wave of displacement of people and economic downwards mobility that is accompanied by the tech development. So we have a lot of currently tech workers, and I would say this type of producing art work, not specifically the artists, but like if somebody who's working in let's say marketing, and then somebody who would be doing somebody who's working in marketing, or somebody who is working in IT, doing like data processing. So all those like, let's say, lower specificity and less artistic production situation, like those people would be the ones who are getting displaced by AI. A lot of tech industry is currently experiencing layoffs. Layoffs are coming also with a general decrease in pay. So that's not like that much on the news, but also what is happening, a lot of those people start getting paid less. So the positions that used to pay extreme amount of money, like $80, $100 per hour, are now paying like 30, which is a large loss of income for people. Yeah, so also there is an underlying frustration larger for the public where AI and robotics are used to automate jobs, which are just like not leading to much. There will be really poor outcomes in implementations of large-scale projects. That's why I attached to a news article where people who used to, companies that replace their human force with AI are now hiring people back to either train, monitor, or that AI, or just to do the work again. Like you just like have to rely on people once again, which is a double expense. Because a lot of AI companies, and in my experience, because I do, like, my workplace is also, they did buy an AI package. It's like, yeah, like it works in terms of like a lot of like data processing, and I use it for one of my projects where I just give it like 1 million PDFs, and then I say like extract that information from PDFs for me. So that's been a pleasure that I don't have to do this, but it still requires my input in terms I need to go and check each single row that AI is giving me out to know that, like, yes, it extracted the correct information, which it often doesn't. But if there is none of like that human step doesn't exist between AI processing and the output, it creates a lot of problems. And a lot of companies, especially let's say more like newer companies, like the, what do you call it, like the God, I forgot the word. Anyhow, those like all those like fancy, fast-growing tech companies, they would be embracing AI with open heart, and then they will just be like, okay, now lay off the whole department. I guess like this is like the case for X and Elon Musk's Doge, where they would just be like, oh, we can just take this whole section of people and let them go and not experience any negative effects, which appears to no, you can't. There still needs to be, even though there is a layoff or like potential loss of work hours and work positions, there still needs to be a human there. So for places where that was completely abandoned and like people were replaced with AI. We see poor outcomes for employers and just generally poor result. If you give a call to the phone line and the phone line replies to you with AI voice, you know that it's just like it's terrible. Like you'll just be screaming the representative into the phone for a while. So the only current protection that we have against AI is, of course, the employee action. The great example is the Writers Guild. So the Writers Guild of America were able to take the action against AI by unionizing and creating a union agreement. This is the first case that we have of that I know of successful fight against the AI implementation in the workplace. And what else do I have to say here? Yes, the anti-humanist sentiment of AI use. So AI is currently used a lot for really, what would I say, questionable employment that people would not like to do. And sometimes it means like stuff like I do at my work where like I use AI to extract like one line out of 3 million PDFs, otherwise I would just have to open it. But in most of the cases, it means military technology. It means creation, like an artistic world creation of the art that would not be created by people, like really a racist type of content. So that content will not normally be created. Like, there's just like not that many artists that would do it. Of course, there's like Ben, whoever his name is. But he's only one man. He can only make that many racist comics. And Stone Toss, I guess, 2 of them. But 2 of them are not able to support the required volume of art production for the right wing. Ben Garrison? I think so. Ben Garrison and Stone Toss. But 2 of them are not able to maintain that level of production. They need to rely on, so right wing will need to rely on AI, which they do, to produce the volume of artistic content that the right wing needs to to spread their ideas. So generally speaking, so so that's what we have. And I like the blue, the meme in blue, where it's like the IT developer looking for a job, which represents exactly this point, where you can, AI slop, Lockheed Martin, fake company, and you can also work for ICE, I guess. So that's the current state of employment for the IT, if you're working in IT. All right. I guess I'll just maintain this screen where I troubleshoot this up for the foreseeable future. All right, so we have clankers as a representation of anti-humanism, which just kind of stems off that previous point where we just go and are we going to the get AI anti-woke comedy next? I think that already exists. We'll get to there. I actually have an example in this presentation. So so I think we're already there. Maybe not like, well, I guess like we gotta downgrade our definition of what a comedy is, and then yes, we get it. But the right-wing perception of art is very different. They don't want art that is like questioning things. Generally, right-wing art will be very straightforward, which I think AI is able to deliver. But yes, anti-humanism, which stems off the AI and all the technology that we're using. So I like the top right meme where I think at the end, I don't know if you can see it, but it says all the same people who are telling you about NFTs are saying autocomplete is intelligent and has feelings. So no feelings in AI and in robotics. So a lot of anti-humanism is what also drives change of this techno-optimism for techno-pessimism for the current people of today, for the current population. So like for me, when I was growing up, computers and internet largely represented the idea of absolute freedom. It was highly let's say very anonymous space, because that was like that was a thing of for the long period of time. Like now I don't generally use social media specifically because it's not anonymous. Like I don't necessarily want to like Life Journal back in the day worked in a way that you would go in and write your pretty much like whatever you want to, like very private information, whatever you want to put out there, you could put it up there, and then nobody in your surrounding would know that it was posted by you. Now everything is very not private. So, like anything that I post, like there is like one of the reasons I don't maintain social media for this channel is because I don't necessarily want my coworkers to know that I have a YouTube channel where I talk about things like this. Like that's none of their business. And I work with them, great people, nice, but also like I say, like there is no need for me. I don't want to like see who, like I don't want to necessarily see who of my like people who I went to high school with, who of them has how many kids, and then like see their children's pictures. I don't really need that in my life. It feels kind of gross, like I'm interfering in somebody's life as well. Like for people who are close to me, I would, I talk to them. For the people who are close to me, I talk to them. I know what's happening in their life. And that's sort of disappointment in the change of how we went from very anonymous but yet very open Web 1 and 2 to current state of platforms and social media where it's absolutely not private. Anything you say online, by the way, will be used against you. So be careful what you say online. So all the information is constantly available. Nothing is private and everything is linked forever to you. So yes, this sort of switch between the technology and then also the fact that a lot of this technology that was originally viewed as something that would make the society very open, very democratic, everybody would have access to all the information. Isn't that exciting? Everybody would be so smart if we have access to Wikipedia. Didn't happen. Of course, the state of that internet side where the abundance of the information just ended up creating the pool of conspiracy theories and disinformation. And when we're currently moving at the state where state of the internet where people before, like it was like, okay, you have to be selective about the information that you see online. Then we moved to the state where like you're kind of some of your relatives probably are, and like I don't think my parents watch the stream, so I can the streams that I make, so I can talk about my parents here. If mom is watching, mom, I love you. Don't worry. But otherwise, if we speak about like older generation, they started at some point, I guess, like early 2000s. They started to treat everything they see online as absolute source of information. Like everything they see that matches their existing information is supposedly correct. Nothing is like it's really hard to like there was like I think 2 or 3 instances where my parents would like show me something and I know that it's AI generated like false information. Like nothing is like specifically harmless, but I know it's like basically false information sort of thing. And I can't, like for the life of me, I can't explain to them why. Because they simply just don't, like, they don't have that, like, recognition, I guess, like, of AI, and it's really hard to explain it. Echo and audio? What about this? Should not be any echo and audio. Are we better now? Hopefully we are. Okay. Right? Are we better? Okay, good. Thank you for supporting my stream misfunctions today. But you see, that's what happens with that's also one of the frustrations I guess you can have with the current state of technology, because there is no need for this to be so problematic. Though I guess this is a new setup, so maybe it just needs a warm up. Who knows? This is like the frustration with disinformation and stuff. So there is very unequal distribution of wealth, which is happening between the billionaires, tech billionaires, and the rest of the society. Where the rest of the society just gets, like, I guess, well, we have a little bit of people in chat, but I'm sure, I don't know if like anybody in chat has the family members who they had to kind of cut the connection with, specifically because of like the amount of and type of information that these people consume. But this is a relatively common theme, where like especially older relatives would just, so basically you just have like a break in family ties because somebody's uncle or dad or mom or whomever decided to just get absolutely high on like the weirdest type of right-wing disinformation, and now there is like no family connection anymore. It will be like it does happen other way too, like where you have like really conservative families, and then one kid would just like kind of like be off lefty, and then they get excluded too. But specifically this type of misinformation and disinformation, I think, is a responsibility of platforms, and there is no responsibility whatsoever for the negative outcomes that these platforms are given to the rest of the society. It's just, okay, like people get rich of it, that's what's important, that's it. There is no other questions or concerns for what is happening and what's the larger effect on public. And not even like talking about the amount of like playing off like genocide in Myanmar was very linked to Facebook, for example. Like in a lot of, in the US now, you see like Gen 6 is very much an online event. So this is a type of, those types of things are driving tech pessimism. And I think this is it for this slide. Yeah, so just largely disappointment that feeds into this frustration, and why people end up creating a slur for all the AI and robotics in the end. Speaking of AI comedy, AI comedy and racism. So George Droid and Kirkinator, choose your warrior. That's the type of thing that we just like start, like those are the character, both of those characters are, especially Kirkinator. George Droid, you'll find a lot of right-wing videos, which, and like not even like just right-wing, a lot of shit posting too, that would just utilize the picture of George Floyd, combine it with AI, and produce brain rot. With Kirkinator, if you ever see it on X or on sometimes on TikTok, mostly it's an X character generally, it is just AI generated video of Charlie Kirk turned into Terminator, and the saga of how he is being like he's still alive, type of thing. So like that's I guess like that's a storyline that he is actually still alive, and he is deployed like a special agent by Trump. So are we just being racist? And that's the larger discourse on the left. Is the term clanker actually just is it actually just racist? And I think there is like a very strange confusion that is happening currently on the left, where they see a slur, and slur is being offensive. And like, I'll say it right away, this is the first line. Inoffensive slur is not a slur. So whenever we see something which is not offensive, it's like, it's not going to be a slur. Easy as that. It's just not going to be a thing. It's only a thing because it's offensive. It is specifically offensive towards the machines. So it is not used towards the people. Actually, it would often be used against the people who like technology. So if you know of other slur, cogsucker, that is specifically attacking the people who are who support or like AI and stuff like that. So, but there is a conversation to be had, because the origin of the term is in American English-speaking spaces, and it cannot be segregated from the history of slurs in America. So of course, this is one case of like just the history. Like it does carry the history. Like it comes from the segregation in the Star Wars, and the segregation in the Star Wars is a reflection of segregation that existed in the Western societies for a long period of time. So it is like a reflection of reflection on this theme. So yes, there is definitely a racist undertone in there. Just let's say not the undertone, but rather the origin. So the origin of the term is linked to racism. A lot of the weirder content on that theme, like if you see the a lot of content that people create where they'll be like, oh, like clanker cannot enter my restaurant, or like, oh, my daughter is bringing clanker home. Those are the obvious wire bag. The daughter is bringing wire back home. So those are obvious reflections of the real time, like real events which happened, and I guess sometimes still happen. But that's a real, those are real cases of a segregation. This is the history of segregation, which is reflected and now transferred into the jokes. And I think those jokes are kind of weird, not necessarily racist, but they just like, do you want to get that close to this topic uncritically? So I guess some people do. Otherwise, when we just talk about like the actual slur itself, I think is just yes, there is a history, but it is an attack on the machine. So that's why the computer guy is here. This is a very old gif of a guy destroying his computer at work. So people do get angry at the machines. You only don't get angry at the machine when it works. But even if your phone doesn't work, all gamers know when you like perform really poorly in game, you can like blame the game, you can throw a controller. So we do have this rage against something that is not working. I spent actually 1 hour today in the morning trying to fix microwave because the microwave was not working. So I did spend 1 hour troubleshooting my microwave, and I personalized that microwave, a couple of times. So there is a degree to which we personalize technology in general, even without it. Now we just have a term, like an offensive term, which specifically means technology. Like we made a word for it. That's what happened. So the urge to destroy the machine was always there. We just now have vocabulary to express those emotions. And there is a degree of anthropomorphization that is happening, which people who say that the term is racist kind of often employ. They say like, well, you kind of like make like you kind of like call the like you mean the clanker, you call your Roomba a clanker because your Roomba is just like like a slave labor, which is just like what black people were in the US in the last century or whatever. So which is, I feel like is just it's a stretch really for me, because in the end people don't really think that far. Like like there is a history to it, obviously, which people don't reflect upon necessarily, but that's not what they mean whenever they call their Roomba a clanker. They just mean that it's this like piece of equipment which is supposed to be smart but is actually not working. That's kind of the statement in there. Yeah, because in the end, the machine is a machine. Yeah, like, yes, we will anthropomorphize it to call it a slur, but we will anthropomorphize anything else also. So that's just something that people do. And then we'll just call it a slur because it's not working. So that's why I say in the end that machine is not human, but a lot of humans are also racist. So take it at that. A lot of humans are just simply it's just the type of content they make is kind of hinging on the side of racism, because like it's just the output that they use. But that's I can spend like we'll slide off the topic if we go into that thought. So yeah. Interesting case of clanker, like right-wing case and traditionalist case against clankers. So biology, tradition, and soul. are the things which are all opposed to machine as well. There is a conservative case to be made against the machines. So and I think like we are not there yet, because for now right-wing people are utilizing technology for their needs of content production, like anti-liberal content production, so they can, they use ChatGPT to own the libs. That continues for now, but there is a case to be made that anybody who is Christian and believes in heaven, hell, soul, chance of salvation, or like faith in Jesus Christ, or even like same in other religions. So anybody who is religious, believes in any sort of religion, and believes in soul, where there is like something that is special about humans, would in the end be opposed to a machine. Even though we don't see much of it now, just based on how political context is. But that, like, I'm willing to bet money that this will happen. This will be a thing as soon as the technology is utilized against the right wing and it stops serving the function there. But also in the leftist spaces, the case that humans are special. So I believe that, that's why people will, like, sometimes what they see is like they think they see racism, but actually what they see is speciesism, and we'll talk about it. But like generally, like a belief that people are special, or at least like living entities are special, which I guess like would be a more like left wing turn on this, where you say like, well, there is something about the biological world which is superior, or at least something that is like superior to us in our reflection to the computer and to the machine. So yeah, and there is also like a leftist case that is to be made against tech elites that do not value human life, human creativity, or human work, and instead see machine as a like basically a solution to humans, not just the human condition, where like we have like Peter Thiel and Elon Musk, who would just be like, well, humans are just not important for them, like they just like they are anti-humanist in a way, like the what do you call him, Curtis Yarman. So this is anti-humanist philosophy. Like he specifically does not value humans, and he's very open about that, which I always appreciate when somebody who is right-wing is actually being able to be honest. So Curtis Yarvin, if you read his text, is anti-humanist. He believes that, and Nick Land, like at least like he doesn't stay on his anti-humanist position, but in his art, like in his works, he would also say like, well, if the machines are better, then the machines are better. For Curtis Yarvin, it's more like, no, the machines are better. So that's where we're going. So yeah, so like those are specifically anti-humanist philosophies. And I feel like there is a brewing opposition to this anti-humanism, which is now resulting in the term clanker, wireback, cogsucker, to call these people that embrace anti-humanism in a way. So yeah, so this is a thing. But in defense of clankers, so there is no shame in buying 260 McNuggets from a robot, which is a real case. So McDonald's tried to use AI ordering devices, so like on the drive-thrus, that the orders would be placed through the voice AI, and then they discontinued that thing because people were coming in and just like trying to, like order a million of something through the machines just to see what happens. But if you go to a counter and there is a worker and you ask the worker, it's just you, and you ask them to buy like obscure amount of chicken McNuggets, they would like it. There is an element of shame to it. It's not that hard. Like there is like, unease. So there will be things which we just like would not ask other people to do just because they're going to look weird at us. Not a case with robots, not a case with machines. Machine allows you to do pretty much any shameful thing that you want to do, which is also why tech billionaires are using it in military to kill brown kids, because there is no shame. There is no shame. There is no opposition. You just tell AI to do, and it does, which can be used in, and I read a large marketing study for this presentation for how people interpret AI, but the only and the main successful marketing strategies of utilizing AI are where people are experiencing shame, which is usually like food, pornography, stuff like that, where we have the what do you say? Oh God, that's throwing off my train of thought. But yes, so there is like the case of shame, and there is again a conservative case to be made here to be opposed to AI from a conservative standpoint, is because a lot of conservative ideas are actually holding on the point of shame. Like a lot of religion is based on shame, and a lot of a lot of conservative ideas would be rooted in like restricting people based on historically on shame or on God fear, like fear of God. In this case, AI is removing those things, and then pretty much you can be, your sexy grok, you can be as weird as you want with your sexy grok. So there is definitely abandonment of tradition happening in there. So yes, and then in the end, I feel like there is a case to be made that I put here and said the AI girlfriends are for incel grippers, but conservative right men want an obedient white wife that has meat and bones. So there is a case of this conservative traditional case against AI and robotics technology, especially when it comes to convenience and shame, where most people would prefer to be dealing with AI, actually. Yes, so any stigmatized societal interactions are better handled with AI. So you can do whatever you want. Like a lot of AI has ethical restrictions for now, but if we remove those ethical restrictions, then we can just be using AI for a lot of things, which we should, like a lot of social interactions, which would not be. It's kind of like a video game in a way, I guess. So like in a video game, sometimes you're allowed to make a weird choice which you would not make, and that's like the whole point of video games. So you get a little bit of this with the AI models. And what else do I have? Yeah, so here we're going to talk about a little bit about speciesism. So not the racism, but the actual thing. So belief on superiority of humans. And this is what, this is a thing that is this, like, this is the actual, like, segregation in here. So the segregation is between human and non-human. A lot of leftists will be uncomfortable with this because they're like, well, aren't we making a hierarchy? And we kind of are. So, but the thing is, we also kind of are making this hierarchy because, like you're human, in which sense, like, there is like an inner contradiction, which I guess people are dealing with. I don't recognize, for me, like, machine is a machine. Like, obviously, in case of fire, I'm gonna be saving my family and my cats and not my computer. So, there is generally a case to be made that, like, in emergency, you need to be able to distinguish the people from non-people. That's why humans are recognizing, like, there's Jesus on a toast. Your brain is so well wired to recognize anything that is human, because it is very important, actually, to recognize humans, to understand that, like, this is a person and this is a tree, because your behavior towards them both is completely different. So this is basically this is just like a biology. Like, you cannot be a species of animal that does not recognize their own species. And, like, to be fair, it's like all animals are wired like that. Dogs recognize dogs, they sniff their butts. This is just like, this is a point of, like, biological entity and just, like, existing in biological reality. So people do prefer interacting with humans, unless we're talking about convenience and shame, like on the previous slide. But that's generally a thing. So where people would just be going to, people prefer to know that they're interacting with the computer. And then whenever there is no need, they prefer to interact with humans. So when you answer the phone and you get this what would you call like if you go on the phone and you need to troubleshoot something, like be it your insurance, your healthcare, you need to book an appointment, you'd rather deal with person, because dealing with AI is horrible. Nobody likes it. And there is a little of a division between the type of clankers as a result. So there is like on the left here, you see the examples of robotics, which are made to be like, yes, those are robotics. Those are AI powered, often. They are full of sensors. They are really advanced technological devices, but you can clearly say that this is not a human. So, like a thing without a face, or like be this like little, I actually seen this when I was on vacation for a month. I went to the hot pot place and they were bringing things on that little cat drive. This is not my picture, but like the exact same robot. And it's very cute. It's very nice. Like you don't really think much of it. It's just like literally a thing that drives around with trays of food. So it's very inoffensive. It's very much used like a tool. You see that it's a tool. It has a cute like cat looking face. It does make like, that's why I remember it, because it makes it like people give it eyes just so it, you still have like some role of anthropomorphism coming there, but it would make like a crying cat face if you just like block its way. If it gets tangled in the corner and it can't find its way out, it will make a crying face. When it comes to your table, it makes a cute face. So it's very, it's very cute, very nice. But you know that this is a machine. So that does not trigger your, well, like I guess like it clearly defines that this is a robot and not a machine. In case of fire, you're not going to be saving a cat driving trays of food in a hot pot place. No, you'll be saving humans. So that doesn't activate the negative reflection in the brain. If you deal with something like AI, be it AI influencers, AI call centers, writing, for example, like, it can cause a negative reaction here. And that's what was within the marketing study, that people who didn't know that they're interacting with AI or robotics, and then had to find out that they're interacting with AI during or after the study, like in the process of like talking with this machine, they experienced negative emotion and pretty much disappointment, even in cases when they were actually dealing with humans. So like if you tell the human like, oh, you're chatting with somebody, and then you can tell them, oh, like this, like they are chatting with the person, but then you say like, well, it actually was AI. People still will have a negative reaction. So they feel, let's say, abandoned by the tech, and they feel very unhappy that you make them talk to robots. So people are very unhappy when they talk to robots and they don't know that those are robots. And that's something that we'll see in online media in case of online influencers. Because online influencers, the whole idea is that God, I'm so far online that far from online culture of influencers that I can't make an example of an online influencer. But imagine you have an online influencer who is just, I guess, like cooking recipes and leading video blogs, advertising whatever should they advertise. I guess makeup, maybe cooking utensils, whatever. So those people are usually followed by, they have like online following because people like to watch other people. It's like parasocial interaction. So there is an interest in looking at that person's life. However, if we talk about, AI generated influencer is really like, it doesn't have a life unless it has like a specific person who is creating this as a character continuously and has some sort of like storyline and things happening to them. I can see it. Otherwise, if it's just prompted fake person, the interest for this fake person is going to wilt fairly soon. And a lot of people that you'll see that I did attach, like I think a video of a researcher here in the sources, if you ever want to watch it, for the Clanker research. So a lot of people that create AI content are the people who are just doing it for money. So they don't really do it for what would you call for the game, like all of the like the videos that I make, I make them out of my own interest primarily. Like it's just the, the YouTube is generally just the output of like where I'm putting this, but that's not the main goal. Like the money is not really the main goal, or it's like side goal, I guess, like you can say for a lot of people who would produce like Mr. Beast type of content. It's like, yeah, money is important, but so is creating this sort of content, so that there is a conglomeration. If we talk about AI, it's just money. It's just like, hey, it's a side gig. You can drive Uber, or you can make AI videos and post them online, and then make sure that like you make a little bit of a side cash by doing that. So, yeah, and this is also tipping into the the best thing of all, the uncanny valley, and a little of a biological case for clanker hate. Again, uncanny valley is a negative emotional reaction to something which is too human and not human enough. So a reaction which happens in your viscera, where your brain recognizes that, oh, this is a machine, but it's like too close to resemble the human for your convenience. So your brain just like gives you negative reaction to this, because again, like you're wired to recognize people, and this gets too close to a person, but also clearly is not that. Appears that it does have some effect when you get to AI and robotics, and where you simply like you kind of think that like, there's this negative reaction where you think that you interact with a person and then realize you interact with robot, does also cause a negative reaction, though be it slightly different than just like biological repulsion in uncanny valley, but still a negative emotion. And then yes, the other contribution, I guess the more the reason we have this vocabulary and words like clanker and cogsucker coming in right now is that the hype train is about to go off into the abyss. So a lot of tech bros, Sam Altman, Mark Zuckerberg, spent a lot of time, a lot of money hyping this up, going to parliament and telling the parliament and all the governments that it's the world is about to end. We're gonna turn the earth into paper clips. We need to be afraid of AI. It's a hyper technology. Like, it's the next revolution. It's the next big thing after engine. I guess bigger than engine. We have new species coming in. It's, we're gonna mine Jupiter, I guess, and take things from Jupiter to Earth, or whatever, whatever the dreams are, like whatever the dreams that are proposed. That seems to not really reflect on reality of technology so far. A lot of AI technology seems to plateau. The only thing that becomes more efficient is energy use, and not even in America. America's AI, like be it like ChatGPT 6 now or 5, whichever is the last one that they had to roll back. No, not a lot of productivity coming out. A lot more energy. Something like DeepSeek and Chinese technology is optimizing for energy consumption of AI, but does not really improve that much. The case that we populate, like the training media, be it Reddit, Facebook, YouTube, a lot of the stuff that AI is using for training is getting polluted by AI content, and eventually, like the training mechanism that was originally developed for this primarily AI is now being polluted and will not work as well in the future, which will further the plateau. And what else we have? So footprint and energy cost does not result in higher quality of outputs. AI projects which are rolled by the companies are rolled back and do not produce a sufficient or expected result, or they at least need a human assistance. And widespread use of AI and robotics to displace and kill people, be it in Gaza, but also in US. So surveillance is used by ICE, of course. What else in Europe, for example, like UK government will be cranking on the people's Facebook feeds and whatever, and like stuff like that. So there is a lot of stuff happening, which is just generally showing that the technology is, first of all, not very useful. Second, doesn't deliver on its promises. And third, is generally only useful and used against the people. So, what we're doing with this information, it's just a general disappointment. That's why people just have to come up with a slur. Also for cocksuckers, and I guess that's the one that is more important in terms of AI and AI reflection on negative use of AI is, I guess, not as much clanker, but the cocksucker, who's the person who likes AI. So you can just say like the person who is hyping this shit on X, you can just tell them what you think about them in one word. And we have also, of course, always important with memes. But this is just general function of a meme, not necessarily just with this case, but so slurs do have fun to them. They're fun to use. They're fun to say. They're like, this is, I guess, just, how the slurs work. They gotta be offensive, and then it's a forbidden language. And then when you use the forbidden language, you have a little bit of a fun. So that's what the humor comes to play. And humor is a threat management. So when we talk about use of AI and robotics and tech to surveil, to attack, to kill, you got to deal with that. It's a very, it's heavy. The thing is, it's all haha and very cool until you get detained by ICE and sent to wherever ICE is sending people now. But the real threats of unemployment, loss of autonomy, information fatigue from be it disinformation or just having too much information shared across, across content, across social media platforms and across AI-generated content, poverty, which is a result of unemployment, a lot of layoffs and technological lack of solutions to the automation. So we bring in automation, but we don't bring any resources and we don't bring any social programs that will be helping people to deal with this sudden lack of work, which would be, I would be not opposed to, that would be a different conversation if we would be having a conversation about gay space communism, full automation, universal basic income, but something like full automation and provided with income. Or we would say, well, now we're moving towards a 3-day work week because a lot of work will be done by AI. Or we would say, well, actually now the people who are laid off are getting trained to operate this new robotic equipment or this new AI. Oh, my camera really does not like this conversation. I don't know what the problem is here, but it's glitching really hard. I guess never update your software. That's the moral of this presentation, and the amount of glitches that I have with my camera is saying that you should just stay in the software version that works for you and not update it. And yes, and also loss of human connection. So aside of just economical factors, there is also a case where AI is supposed to replace friends, which is, no, it's just a surveillance devices. So where we have the, I think I know what the problem is. Look at me. I think I know what the problem is with the camera. Let's see if I can fix it. There you go. Here we go. Yeah, well, we'll see how long that lasts. And loss of human connection. So when we have friends.com, which is this little pendulum that goes on your chest and replaces a friend. So it's a thing that just talks to you all the time and pretends to be your friend. But it's actually just an AI device which is harvesting your data and speech and information and geolocation and all sorts of things about you. So loss of human connections and replacement with technology, which obviously everybody knows is not the same as having friends. Having a little robot talking to you on your neck is not the same as having a girlfriend, no matter how you try to cope. Yeah, and of course, the general summary of this is, that there is only one way to deal with this, that is unite against the machine and act against the machine. So negative effects of AI are reflected in rich technocrats who bring tech into the world, claim the positive results of the technology, and then refuse to take any responsibility for the negatives, which are mostly distributed down while wealth is distributing up. Looming sense of economic crisis and lack of resources and resolutions to a coming wave of automation and thus coming wave of unemployment. And everybody kind of knows it, because even though we will not talk about something which is, I don't think AI will lead to specifically mass layoffs of whole sectors of employment, but it will lead to, like, let's say a department that would be made in like cinema, special effects, like maybe you replace 20 people with 10. Is this a JRAG funded stream? Good question. That's actually a coincidence. But I did email Greg before doing the stream that I was doing research for this as well. So this stream is not sponsored by JRAG, but I do fully support all the points that he makes. So I'll tell you this. So it's just a coincidence. We just, great minds think alike. I guess that's what I want to say. But yeah, a question of the labor power in the world where labor is largely automated. So current unions and labor power is mostly driven by the by the need for work, need for human labor. So the only reason people are able to bargain against their employer is because the employer needs them. They need them to operate the machinery and run the place. If you do reach the point where the automation is either full or close to being full, then there is also a significant loss of labor power. So what you actually have is a large group of unemployed people, which do not have any labor power or any specific power, because labor power is still relatively peaceful, I would say, because you can get more money by going on strike and then going out of the strike and getting money. And then go back home and feed your kids and relax. However, if there is no labor power, you just have amount of unemployed people. Unemployed people can express their negative emotions through only one means, which is organizing in some sort of anti-governmental and anti-governmental protest. And that protest also needs to be fairly violent to express any pressure on the government. Because if you just go on the street, we see this sort of lefty protests left and right where, we just go out and we just stand there and then we just tell the government to be like, maybe we need some social service, please. And then the government is like, sure, go around the building 10 times and go back home, and nothing ever happens. But the only way to express that pressure is to have large groups of people, which is kind of like what you see in the Great Depression in the U.S., I guess. There's there will be a lot of crime, a lot of just socially negative activities happening in terms of unemployment, because people who are unemployed do not have means to express their dissatisfaction through labor power and through labor protest. Their only form of protest is to go against the government directly, which brings all sorts of different ideas, I guess. And there is also an interesting case to be united against, union of us against them to be made here for people who like and prefer tribalism. I guess, again, a conservative case against AI is you have us against them, which is biological versus computerized entities, which is not really active right now, but is something that we'll see potentially in the future. And I guess this is my in-depth analysis of the war on clankers, and an in-depth reflection on the current meme culture, what do I have here? Yeah, I have the sources there. I will attach this presentation to the stream. So you can click on the links. There is some videos, there are some articles, there are some easier articles and harder ones for your further entertainment. And any questions, concerns, suggestions to this stream. Also, if anybody is interested, I think like JRAG and Brogan and the Final Girl Digital, they will have a reading, or did they already have a reading in Toronto? Oh, I should have checked, of Anti-Clanker Manifesto. This is not sponsored by them, though. This is just a coincidence that we just arrived to the same conclusion there. Okay, let me see the chat. Big Sis Billy, who's that? Oh, yes. Yes. So, well, this is like the case of, I guess, like the friendship. There was like one, I don't know about the Big Sis Billy. I do know about the unfortunate case of a teenager who was just like told to progress in their rather depressive episode to its end by the AI. So that was the. Can I transition to myself only? Yeah, here we go. That like, so there is a real cost to the AI. Like there are real cases of people who either would. Oh, what about that? Wait. So, what about the guy who got who developed like medieval psychosis because AI told him to eat cobalt or whatever? So there was that case. The that was a rather interesting one. Bromism. So the guy got an advice from ChatGPT to replace his salt in his diet, which is like sodium chloride, with bromide chloride. And he got the case of bromism, which is like a typical medieval condition, which used to be like common when we didn't control over food or water and just had chemicals in the water that turn people crazy, unlike the modern chemicals that make the frogs gay. So the guy got bromism from following ChatGPT advice, which is like a real case of, like, good for him. He survived it. I think he was fine in the end. But that's the case of, machines attacking humans, I guess, and maybe unintentionally, but who knows? Yeah. Bromism, like, yes, but bromism, not that type. Yes, the element. I guess maybe now he just has the case of bromism as in bro culture. So yeah, that's all I had for this presentation. It's really nice to be back. Baseball caps and watching sports. Yes, I wish that would be a better outcome instead of him administered in psychiatric hospital. And I don't know how they diagnosed him actually, because that's like it's like the same as like, like if you arrive to like modern hospital with like a case of a Black Death, it's like no, like people are not used to seeing this anymore. Like it's like a common disease, but people are not used to seeing that. So yeah, like this, and I guess we're in war with clankers very soon. AI human conflict. That's also why I make this stream, because I feel like it's it's sort of coming. I don't think it's like coming as in like war against the droids, but I do think it's coming as in the large scale unemployment and all associated problems that will arrive out of unemployment. That's why I think it's important. All right, ladies, gentlemen, everybody else in the chat, anything that any ideas, thoughts, and feelings about about coming war with robots that I can reflect upon. And if no, then I guess we'll just call it a day. I will start working. I already started working on the next video. Hope everybody likes the new. There is now a gray wall. So there's a gray wall and a black wall. Isn't that nice? There is now a cat chair. So you don't see it because I have no cat. But now I can bring a cat like here into the frame when I stream. And for some reason they decided not to come over. But though even when I don't stream, they are always here. Well, I have like one cat sitting on the side, but they decided that chat is not worthy it today, I guess, so they did not visit us. Anna's origin story. Like, oh, what? Can you be more specific in the origin story? Somewhere in southern Russia, one spring morning, I dropped out of my mom. Do you know of the study where an AI tried to kill and blackmail humans? No, I did not. I did not. I know that AI tried to like blackmail a guy that I've read. Interesting. I don't know if we're there yet. I know that you can use AI like a lot of military is using AI to harvest information. No, did not see that. Don't see that. You came from Russia to USA. No, I came from Russia to Canada. So I live in Canada. I don't live in US. A lot of my audience is US. A lot of my audience is actually like post USSR and like spaces, like immigrants from those areas. A lot of them are also European, but a lot are actually just like American. So I came from Russia to Canada. I came over 10 years ago. My parents came to Canada, and then I thought that I will stay a little bit in Russia because I was in medicine there, which is like, it's a good field to be in. And then the things happened because it was like 2012, I think, when the Crimea happened. And then after that, I was like, well, you know what? No, probably no. And then I moved, and I moved back with my parents who were living here at the time. Studied here, decided to stay. Not going back. Fully Canadian now, fully Canadianized, I guess. And I live in Alberta, very cold. Not as like I'm from southern Russia, so like it's not. What do you say? Like it's not that cold there. Like I hate Alberta cold. I guess that's why that's all the time I have for this channel in winter. When I just sit at home and it's minus 25 outside, I don't know how to ski. I don't know how to skate. I know how to swim really well. I don't have like no idea what to do with snow. I mostly just like run in winter when the weather permits. But otherwise there's just like, it's just cold and I'm here running this YouTube channel in minus 25. That's my life. It's already like the first snow is supposed to be today afternoon. It's already really cold outside. It used to be like yesterday was plus 10. It's already plus 2 outside. So we're going to have first snow. And how was the culture shock in Canada? Well, I was in Canada, like I studied English here. So like my parents, there was like a period when I was in like 9th grade because my parents immigrated. I immigrated. I was already grown up, but I was technically, by documents, I was still a kid. So like 2000, after 2008 and 2009, when all the like crisis happened, my parents went and I went with my, like they were like looking for, like basically looking for opportunities. And then we visited Canada. So I came here with my mom for like 4 weeks, and that was my first like culture shock part where I was like, it's like very different. I remember that it was like almost like, and it is true, like you have like liminal space, especially in American suburbia, and that was back in Vancouver area, where you have just like green grass and like single housing. That's where I was like, we were staying at the basement of some lady. So it was like this weird, like, experience where I went from, really, really hot on like a different continent. Everybody studies English. I do like that Canada is, and I still like when I come back, this is the part which I kind of miss, that it's very mixed here. Like, like if, even though I live fairly rural, but if I want to have like if I want to have a hot pot, and if I want to see like in like when we have the like Indian festivals like Holi and whatever, like if I want to go there, it's all in driving proximity pretty much. So everything is just sit in a car, and then I can like experience all the different cultures. The neighbors are not like all mixed up, and then here like, and then going back, like especially now, if I ever visit, like I still have my grandma there, so if I ever visit her, everything is like suddenly very uniform. So just like this lack of uniformity is something that I like here, absolutely. But it's been like a while. Obviously, culture is different. Sometimes I still like I'm still like being like Canadians and whatever, but also I am very Canadian now. Like I'm not returning. I don't see any path back in general, nor any wish to return for obvious reasons. And then so that's kind of where I sit now. I did finish my education here, though. I did finish the university in Canada, though I did finish sciences and not what I'm doing over here. So I generally like, I work in science, and I studied science, and I'm very very sciencey person otherwise. Chemistry, biology. I did infection control. So stuff like that. Yeah. Do I ever miss anything about Russia? Well, you see, like I miss, so there was, I guess, like the hardest part of it for me, being already relatively grown up, was that for a very long time, it was very hard for me to make friends. But I guess like all immigration is like hard. When you immigrate, you're just like, you go from being fairly okay and having support from family and friends to just having like nothing, working the worst job ever, and then just surviving. I don't miss those years. Like that's part of why I like living in Alberta and not in BC. Like I go to Vancouver occasionally. You could not drag me there. I hate it there. I have like flashbacks when I go there, because that's where my first years of immigration were, and it was a pretty hard experience, just like how immigration is. So I did a lot of like, I did miss that like support and community. And also but this is more like a Europe, and I guess difference between living in a large culturally developed city and small not culturally developed city, but the fact that there is basically no events, no like nothing, like where I live, where like in the town where I live, nothing happens that ever interests me. Like it's just like sometimes I go and I organize some events, and I go to some other ones. I do volunteer with community gardens, but like as I volunteer with community gardens as event organizer, so I organize lectures for like tree pruning and whatever, but not like I don't have trees, I don't have a house, so like none of the events that I organize or events that are happening here are of any interest to me. There is like no good bar, there is no theater, there's just church if I want to go to church, and I'm not a religious person. So this is like the part which I still miss, which I guess like I do compensate because I can drive to the city, and it's not that big of a deal right now when I'm used to like, this is my process now, so I'll just be like, what's happening in Edmonton, what's happening in Calgary, what's happening in Vancouver, can I fly to Toronto, like, so things like that, which are like I can just like, now I have my life arranged to, if I want to experience any sort of exhibitions or events or concerts, I will just go there and like stay there and drive there. But originally when I just immigrated and when I just moved, just the lack of lack of interesting events that would be interesting to me was kind of what I missed. And I still kind of miss it, to be fair. So, and everything else is like food and whatever. I can just like, I can cook it. There is big diaspora. Now I have a lot of friends who are also Russians and from like a lot of like Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, those like, you know, adjacent countries. So we have a good community here. There's like large diaspora. So if anything is needed, we just like make it happen. So, but that it took a while to get here, you know, if you understand what I mean. Yeah. Any question? Mm-hmm. Do we have a cat? Can I show you a cat? Do you want to come over? Huh? He like does not want to come over. He just looks over me and he just does the cat thing. Yeah, you can. I think like you can hear. If you can hear a bell, that's a cat. I gave one of my cats a bell because he harasses the older cat. Do I watch Russian YouTubers? God. No, not really. I only if like that's like a thing. So a lot of the, I guess, like, how do I explain it? So a lot of the like the reason my English is okay is that I sort of used YouTube to learn English. So ever since like like very early on. God, when was the oh God, what was this thing like 2008, like even before YouTube, like there was a like I always watched English content, like English speaking content. Like I remember that like grade 9 math, I was doing grade 9 math in Russia using Khan Academy. Oh, here's the Khan. Yeah. So which wasn't English. Anyway, like I know who they are. So like NFKRZ, like I obviously know who that is, but I don't watch it because a lot of his content is made for, it's like Russian YouTuber making videos for non-Russians, if you understand, like the like this. It's not made for Russians. Like I don't need a video about Russia. I've seen enough of it. I've had enough. So I don't need to like watch how the things are there. I do interact with I still have friends there and who I still maintain connections with. But specifically like content wise, I did like, because I originally like since I was like 15 and 14 and like internet was very much an English speaking space. I did go into that stream and then I never really came back. There is this one channel which I watch, but they're like a music analysis channel. Oh, but I don't know what the name is. I do only occasionally watch him. But those I do, I don't know who they are. Natasha's Adventures is also very lovely. I think I used her video in like one of the references in my video in, oh God, I don't remember. I think it was Patreon. I think in the Patreon video, like you can see like the excerpt from her video. Yeah, the cat materialized. So this is the cat which is like has a bell so you can hear him because he harasses other cats. I don't know what happened to him. He grew up. Like he used to be very tiny kitten and then like very slim, very small. And now he just eats a lot. And then he became big and now he just harasses all the other cats. So he got a bell so that all the other cats can hear that he's coming in. And they can just run away or do whatever they want. So yeah, this is my relationship with the Russian media. I do, though, the only thing I would say that like the books, like I do still read a lot of Russian literature, even modern Russian literature. So that's something that I like used to do and I still do. But in terms of media and online spaces, I'm pretty much all just in English and that's it. And that's how it used to be like since a long time ago. Though now I speak, like I try to learn Spanish and that's kind of what I do. I do the same thing now where I just like watch a lot of content in Spanish. And I just hope that my brain will do the same thing that it did when I was 14, which, to be honest, doesn't really work that well when you're over 30. Yeah, that's now I'm like leaning towards like, but I'm only able to watch like more like educational content for now in Spanish. Like I can't understand a lot of like more advanced topics, but all the easy stuff like animal and history and geography videos I can already watch in Spanish, so it's going somewhere. I guess that's my language advice to you. How to learn a second or third language is just you just dip yourself into culture and then hope that your brain is gonna figure out the rest. What, you wanna come? You wanna come? No. The cats are saying that they are not joining us today. The chair is not attracting. Like, you wouldn't believe it. Like, if I work at this station in the evening, there is like, they will be like here, because that's where the keyboard is. Like, so the cats would be here. There's a laptop on the side. They will be sitting on the laptop. But whenever I film, and I was like, maybe now I can, guys, have a stream with a cat. Isn't that original and exciting? And no, I cannot have a stream with a cat because that's how the cats work. But look, I figured out how the camera, what was the problem with the camera. So that's good for the last half an hour of the stream where I already finished the presentation. So here you go with that. Yeah, any more questions, or what do we think? Otherwise, if nobody has any questions, we'll just go about our day. It's still a weekend. I still will need to somehow figure out the wall painting in the room where I ripped all the sound panels off, and hopefully finish all that. And I'll see you sometimes. Maybe I think like it's not gonna take that long for the video because I already started working. It will be on sneak peek. It will be on Tradwives. Oh, the cup is so all the cups and plates in my house are different color, by the way. I do like collect plates in a way, so I just go and I buy like the plates and cups that I like, and it's really nice. I like it. I really like colorful what do you call it? Like all the plates and cups and whatever. Yeah, thank you for everybody for joining me. It's been really nice to be online. It's been really nice to be offline for a month too. I highly recommend that. I don't know, like, it's been a long time. I have like no, well, I guess like there was like a thing where a couple of months ago where like I was like, well, I've been doing YouTube for 3 years, and it's obviously not like blowing up in a way, like I just keep going. It keeps growing. It's stably growing, but it's like, I make a video, it grows a little bit. I make a video, it grows a little bit. So it's going, but it's going slow. And I was like, why do I like race it? That was the thing. Like, I was like, I don't want to race it. I just want to like consistently do it. And then if I want to take a break, just, stop Patreon, because that's like where I don't want people to pay me money while I don't do anything. But like, it's just, put a break there and then have a couple of weeks off. It's been really great. I wish all YouTubers would be able to do this. It's been really productive to not, and I think I've read a bunch of far-right literature, but I did not read a single thing about like Elon Musk or Peter Thiel, with like rare exceptions where it would sip through the news. But that part of the content creation and the online spaces was out of my life for a month. Didn't miss them. It's been great. It's been really nice. It's nice to be back now. I was that's great. So I highly recommend taking vacation, I guess. That's the moral. Yeah, like the high quality long form content. That's what is kind of, and the thing is like it is hard to make those long form videos. Like, like this, like the YouTube will force you to upload more often. Like, for example, for the time which I was not offloading, I was not uploading for the last I think like 2 months at this point, or 3 months. I don't know when was the last video. I didn't check. But it's been a while, so I can see that, on statistics, it's like I got like the channel now has literally like maybe like 10 views a day, which is nothing. And I feel kind of like, the thing is like I'm fine with this and I don't worry about this because YouTube is my, like, I treat it at this point like as a hobby and not really as a source of any like, I don't rely on this money. Like, I use Patreon and YouTube money mostly just to like run the channel. Like, for example, I did buy the carpet and I did buy the wall paint, and this is all thanks to my patrons and whatever YouTube views I get. So I was putting that money aside just to put the space together, but I don't feed myself and I don't have that anxiety of not being like relying on this sort of income from media. So we'll just keep going with like high effort content, but I feel bad for a lot of people who just like can't do this in a way. It's very difficult, I'd say, financial environment if you don't have a stable form of income. So yeah, money well spent. Yeah, thank you. I really like it. There is a lot of space now. I still have like, you don't see, but there is like a pile of industrial garbage over here just right off the camera, and a lot of like sports stuff and what else still needs to go up in here. But most of the renovation is done at this point. So I got the wall cover. I have a window now. That's nice. You don't see it, but like, because the window used to be here in the other room, but now the window is like here, so I can stream and enjoy the sun. And it's really nice. The only thing is this room is really cold because this is basement, so it's really cold. But sweater. Yeah. So yeah, thank you for your support. It was nice to see everybody. Magic of camera placement. Horses is also a good example. Oh yeah, horses. I like horses. Oki's Weird Stories is also really nice. I really like the quality. It's not like I don't have like particular interest, but obviously I know him also from like CCCRU, like from Toronto. He's there with in Greg's studio too. I've met him. Sweetest person ever. Really good content. Horses I actually watch. I really like horses content, and I am subscribed to his Patreon too. So yeah, very nice videos. And he like somehow he does like, so there is like between horses, Jacob Geller is also one example like that of people who are able to produce like really high quality content consistently and on fairly fast frequency. It's like superman talent there. I don't know how they do this, because otherwise like for one person, like it's like a 2 months cycle is okay. Like I try not to make videos over an hour. That's why, because just I don't know. Like I feel like it's like too much. I feel like if it's over an hour, I just need to like separate them into two separate entities for my own sanity and for the sanity of viewers. But it's like close to an hour. But if you think of like Jacob Geller doing like 30-minute, like 40-minute videos, which are always a hit. Like anyone you watch is great. Like I have my favorites, but like there was never a video which I would watch and be like, that's like lower stuff than usual. No, like everything is good, and it's once a month. Like how does the man do this? I don't know. Magic. Or I guess no, he's not doing drugs, but it's a great place to insert a drug joke. It's like, oh, maybe we're just doing drugs. But yeah, like it's just, some sort of like inhuman ability, which I guess like maybe if I would be doing this full time, that would be a possibility. Like if I would be putting like 8 hours a day, 5 days a week into this, yeah, maybe. But I only put into this, like I work on videos, like I have a fairly stable, maintainable rate at this point where I would do through the week about 8 hours, and then for like Saturday, so like today I would finish and then I'll go and I will read and maybe write some notes. Like I'm in the note stage, or I would film on Saturdays, and then on Sundays I only ever work if it's an editing, because I don't like to edit. So I would just like, I'm a person who like, I know that it depends on like personality, but I'm the person who like, I would rather sit and like struggle with the part I don't like to compress it so it only lasts me a week or like the minimum amount of days that I need to be doing it. So I would just sit and edit on like Saturday and Sunday for 14 hours just so I can be done with it and then relax. But yeah, like that's kind of like the workflow. Otherwise, Sunday is off. Like in normal state, if I'm just like reading and writing, I'll read some, but not that much. So it's only like maybe 20 hours a week total, about that much. So yeah. Oh yeah, the that's what I was thinking. Like because like I like, and this is the part of why I took a month off actually, because that was the realization that not only is this channel not particularly driving me any income, but at this point I think that it never will. Like, it's kind of a realization, but also something that I think is actually maybe okay, maybe it shouldn't, in a way, at least like this sort of content, because I like it's let's say like very still politically engaged. It's like I would prefer it to be like, if I would run a cooking channel, that would be different. Like if I would run a cooking channel, I could like churn more content and like do use it as like main base of income. But this one almost seems like it's better that way for both me and the channel, that I just treat it as a project in a way. Like, it's something that I just like do. So yeah, but like for other people who rely on this, I don't know how they do this. And like it's just so, it would be like if I would be doing this, it would be so stressful. I don't think I would be that happy if it was all just like if I would rely on media. It seems very crazy. Yeah, that's what I think. Thank you for saying that it's like healthy and constructive. That's what I feel like. Where after 3 years of doing it, because there was like a period I was doing a lot of it, and then but I was mostly like learning, and then eventually I would do like more in-depth videos and less frequency, and I realized that they can burn you out. They didn't burn me out, because I'm also like, I was like, okay, like I need a break, and then I took a break. And then the thing is like, part of it is like, yeah, being able to like take a break. I guess like you either have to be really good. I guess like ContraPoints took a break about the same time. I think she's back to work too. But like you either have to have like this significant amount of media income. You have to be like at the very top, or you have to just like have a source of income and do the YouTube. So yeah, but otherwise it's been really good. I had my friend got married, so I had a chance to like party at the bachelor, party at the wedding. That was very nice. Go to the lakes. I swim in the lakes a lot. So enjoyed the mountains, enjoyed the summer. Yeah, like, I was like at the point, I was like at the end, I think last week when I was I was scheduling the stream, I was like, why I didn't do this earlier? Like, I don't know, because like it's like nobody's rushing me. I've never seen I've never seen a person. I think like there was like one comment out of like for the whole 3 years where the person was like, well, I want you to make more content faster, and it's like and I don't know who that was. Like, it was just like a brief interaction, but yeah, but like on the on like a large scale of like the constant supporters, it was never the point. And I was like, why I didn't do this last year? I don't know. Like, cause like the thing is, I have a job all the time, so I work like regular human job all the time. I had it last year, and last year I was more stressed because I now like I switched workplaces. Like my workplace now is very like, it's busy there, but like I come and I go, and then I just like don't think about it, which is great. So I can like work on the channel more. The work before, it was like 24/7 operation in my brain, so it was way more stressful. And somehow I still like didn't think that I should or can just enjoy myself for 4 weeks. But I guess I'll just like, now I think like, oh, I should do this every year. So we'll see. We'll just continue with that. And then, it doesn't really affect much in the end of things. It just makes like a positive effect, because I'm happier. The videos will be better quality. I'm ready to work, and I actually miss doing things. So yeah, it's been great. Okay, let's wrap it up. And then I'll see you on next video, and then I'll just do the same thing again every cycle. So we'll just do a video and a stream, a video and a stream, and we'll keep going. So I'll see you in a couple of weeks on the main video. All right. Constant question of ending the stream. Everybody close your eyes. Stream is ending. Bye bye. Have a good day, I guess. Good weekend.